Hello and welcome to the latest Rob and Blakey Commentary Box podcast. We are loud and clear on Welsh football. I'm the former BBC Wales football correspondent, Rob Phillips, and alongside me as ever, the former Premier League and Wales international, Nathan Blake. Greetings.
How you diddling?
Of course, we're coming to you from the University of South Wales Atrium, where we're brought to you with the valued support of the journalism and media courses. Tell your friends we're available on all social media outlets, Instagram, X, Blue Sky, Threads. Watch us on YouTube. Please like and subscribe and get us on all your usual podcast outlets, including Spotify. If you've not caught the best of our best of series, then that's still available. As I say, remember, enjoy, follow and subscribe. Right, we've got so much to get through today. Nathan, we will talk about the doggy-dog world I entered into last night, because this is Wednesday, of Snoop Dogg, when he arrived at Swansea City. We'll look at Cardiff and Newport too. But we have to mark, I think, a significant moment in the history of Wrexham under their Hollywood owners, Ryan Reynolds and Rob Mack, as he likes to be known now. For on Sunday, Wrexham's women triumphed 4-2 in a penalty shootout over Cardiff to win the Adran Janeiro League Cup final at Bangor and win their first major trophy. Now, Phil Parkinson, obviously, is well used to success and followed that up with a win over Portsmouth, which we'll talk about as well. But to discuss all things Wrexham is the man who I always described as being the Hollywood owner's man on earth, Humphrey Kerr. Greetings, Humphrey. I think you're now community director. Is that the right title?
Afternoon. Yes, that's right. Exactly. So I my purview now really is the Wrexham AFC Foundation, which is our charitable arm. And in that role, we oversee a lot of the club's kind of mixed ability teams, as well as kind of being the cutting edge of the interface between the club and the community of Wrexham.
Okay, so I used to chair the board of Newport County's County of the Community, the charitable trust. Myself and Norman Parsall set it up about 11 years ago. We started with 2 bags of balls and a set of bibs, and 11 years later, we've got, I think, 23 employees, and we serve probably on average about 5,000 kids a year. We got fit and fed programs and all sorts. So old people, walking football for elder people and loneliness programs. So we're in the same boat then, Humphrey.
It's a brilliant part of. I mean, I think a lot of people don't know the work that clubs do in their communities.
Yeah.
And actually, I think what is being done up and down the country at all sorts of clubs is really vital work that helps to kind of knit the community together. We often find ourselves dropping into places that perhaps have been left behind a bit by government or councils or whatever it may be. So it's brilliant to be part of that.
Yeah, and sorry, Rob, the EFL, I give them a shout out because it would be quite easy to forget about the charitable trust side of things, but the EFL and the funding they give you and what have you, has been massive for Newport. And what I'd say is it's the reason why I harp on about, I'm more worried about the community suffering if Newport get relegated out the league than I am about the football club, to be honest with you. Because I think the football club, without the football club, we sort of don't exist. But we set up as a separate entity because they had no interest in it to begin with. Yeah. But it's amalgamated into one sort of club now. But it's so without communities are in Wrexham, you would know now, and Newport. They're similar places.
Well, I remember, Humphrey, the just a couple of days after the takeover took place, I contacted Gemma Owen, who's I think she head of the women's section now, and other stuff as well. And she was saying, well, it's not just the money going in on the sort of big stuff, but I think one of the first gestures wasn't it £50,000 towards the community side of it.
That's right. Well, the £50,000 actually was specifically for the women's team, right? Because there's a recognition that the rise of women's football and the opportunity that gives to both not only the women that play for our club, but also young girls in the community that want to get involved in football. and was a really important one for us to grasp. And so, it's been an exciting part of the journey that has, continued alongside the men's first team, is the growth of our academy. It's the growth of our community foundation. It's the growth of our women's and girls section as well. And as you said in your introduction, we've had a really good sort of tentpole milestone this week with winning the Cymru Adran trophy.
Yeah, I mean, how big a moment was that, do you think, for Wrexham Football Club in general? Maybe unheralded in some quarters, but you were there. Rob was watching it excitedly on his TV back in the USA. It seems a moment for Wrexham, that.
I think it's really important. I mean, Phil Parkinson was there as well.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Which I think is really worth shouting out, because we really do want to kind of view ourselves as a one club operation. It's not that we don't want to be as divided between the two segments as goes on at some clubs. But no, it's massive, because not least of all because, as I say, having set up a girls' academy, I think the future of women's football is really bright and really strong. And for us, we want to show people that if you come here, you're going to win silverware. You're going to, we're breathing right down Cardiff's neck in the league, and we would love to come out on top of that and get into Europe as well, and just start to grow the programs so that, if you are a young girl with an interest in football anywhere in mid Wales North, we want you to come and be part of our academy, and we want to start turning out Wales internationals and, giving the same support to the national team and the national game that we do on our men's side.
I have to say I have a bit of envy, because it's what we've lacked at Newport. That sort of, we've got the vision, as a charity we've got the vision, but we haven't had the support from the football club. At times the football club have almost gone against us. Like I said, it's been difficult. There was one time they someone there, I won't name his name, but tried to shut the charity down. So credit to you, Humphrey, and credit to Wrexham, because like you say, like there's no girls' academy. The boys' academy I don't think is much at Newport, but there's no girls' academy. The girls' teams are not. There's no interaction sort of thing, but it's definitely needed, because it's huge. It's huge.
Yeah, and as you say, Humphrey, it's going to get bigger, isn't it? You'd like to hope.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I think you see that in, if you think of the growth of women's football across the world in the last 10 years, in terms of viewership, interest, participation, quality, like all those things have shot up. And we're really excited to be kind of doing our bit for that in North Wales.
Yeah, and you've got to be committed to it, see?
Yeah.
Because there's I can only speak of experience, because there's so many, children in underdeprived situations now, and giving them the opportunity, because you go on the council estates now, the youth clubs are gone, the football clubs are gone. There's not as much sport in schools anymore. The school curriculum doesn't do as much sport. So without these sort of community programs alongside the football clubs, it's a lot of people would suffer. So it's brilliant.
Yeah, it's certainly a growth area. And I noticed the under-18s got knocked out by Aston Villa, but they reached the FA Youth Cup for the 5th round for the first time. So it's more than just the first team.
Absolutely. And I mean, I think, North Wales is such a hotbed of footballing talent. And one of the things when we were coming in was we sort of slightly unsophisticatedly did a bit of digging around of like, well, which players that would fall within our catchment area are at Liverpool, at Everton, at Manchester United, Manchester City, Crew, like whoever it may, like who is travelling from the sort of Wrexham area out of our reach to go and be part of academies elsewhere. And there were lots and lots of players. Nathan Broadhead, who plays for us now, is from Bangor. That's right in our in our back garden. Nico Williams, who's obviously flying at Nottingham Forest. So and there are many and varied others. So we really, really wanted to make sure that we could try and offer something for those players closer to home, but also reach those players who maybe didn't have the opportunity to go, couldn't travel to Liverpool, couldn't travel to Manchester, didn't have the ability, didn't have the resources, to travel that far from home, and create an opportunity for them, in their own back garden.
Yes, it's brilliant, mate. I've got a bit of envy, to be honest with you, because when you say catchment area, we've said for years, Newport's got Bristol, the two Bristol clubs over the bridge, Swindon, Reading, probably up as far as the edge of London. Then you come around, you've got Birmingham and the Midlands down Worcester and what have you, Malvern, and then you come down into Wales and you've got around the valley, around Rumney, and and it's a massive catchment area.
It is.
And, the money they've had over the last couple of years, which people continue to talk about, if you invest that money, I mean, it's different for Wrexham because they have a backing. But even if you've got money, it doesn't mean to say you do the things right? So what our frustration is we've got the will, but we don't have the financial backing. Yeah. And that is where the two sort of divide. But when they have had the money, they've squandered it, to be fair.
Well, it's also where we're privileged. I think if you look at Wrexham when we came in and took over, I think it's a very similar story in terms of the academy had atrophied, from being a very strong one in the sort of 70s and 80s. Our community foundation had also, all the resources were being put towards what was happening with the first team. And then you're only, a bad signing or an unlucky decision or an injury away from, as you say, squandering, losing out on the benefit of their money. Where we know we're so lucky is that we are able to invest in some of these things that have huge long-term returns, but not massive short-term returns. So, we looked at the economics of an academy, and we will spend a lot of money for a long time before we see any of the current crop of players appearing in the first team. Or being of a standard where, God willing, we're in the Premier League or whatever it is, and having, we all dream of the connection the fans have had to, my time there, the likes of Jordan Davis and Max Cleworth, who came up through our system. How valuable that is. And then on the sort of less romantic side, it's creating players that might be worth 5, 10, 15, 50 million quid, from your own stock, rather than having to go and sign them.
Well, it's the only way you make money as a club. I always say it is from an academy and developing your own. And it takes foresight and short, mid, and long term planning. I mean, that's the first rule of governance, right? That long term plan. So you got to be prepared to put the money in, or when you got the money, invest it in places where it's not going to give you maybe the returns that you can but it's going to increase in value and you will get some return from it. But
you talk about a long-term plan, and you both agree on that. I look back to February 2021, 5 years ago, a few weeks ago, and what you said when Rob and Ryan came in and you were part of it, you say, I would say our expectation is to get to League One and to thrive in League One at the very least. Well, today, Wrexham sit top 6 in the Championship. How would you describe the journey?
Well, I mean, it's been incredible. It's been sort of 5 of the best years of my life, really, in terms of being involved in this, and what Phil and the players and all the staff at the racecourse have managed to achieve. It's certainly exceeded my expectations. As I said, I think historically we felt as though Wrexham had been a sort of a natural League One football club in many respects, and it had fallen on hard times. But I think what happened as we took over, and the enthusiasm that followed, and the both from people locally and from people around the world, because modern football is such a kind of international activity, has allowed us to dream bigger. And last season again, Phil pulled off this astonishing feat of back-to-back promotions, and all of a sudden we're quite in the mix for another one.
Yeah. Did you not expect this season? I mean, I wanted to pay tribute to Phil Parkinson as well, because I just don't think he gets the credit in that. The scenario. It's, he gets loads of money. They buy their way out of each league. Well,
Cardiff have had loads of money.
Yeah, exactly. Plenty of clubs have had loads of money and not had the right manager.
Listen, money doesn't equate to success.
Yeah. So what would you say, Humphrey? How big a part has he been in the overall development?
he's everything in many respects. Him and Steve Parkin and Aidan Davidson, his Dave Jones, his coaches. I think the culture that they have managed to breed into the club in their time there is our single greatest achievement, because it's reflected both on the pitch in terms of a team who last night, for example, we went 2-0 up, kind of cruising, and I think a bit of fatigue crept in from a really big game on Saturday against Ipswich, and it was backed against the wall for the second half. But they're a very, very determined group of players. They play for each other. They play for the badge. They play for the fans, and there's no kind of big time Charlies. No one's getting carried away with themselves, and we really try and foster that spirit across the whole club. Really, that it's about the collective. It's not about, I heard a stat that we scored 7 goals in our last 5 games, whatever it is, and it's 7 different goal scorers, and that's a really good sign, I think, of a team that works together. They all chip in. We're not overly reliant on individual brilliance. It is a group ethic, and I think the way Phil approaches, the history of the club and the culture of the club, how involved he is in our Gresford Memorial Remembrance, like his determination to make sure that any new players arrive understand the significance of the disaster to Wrexham, the significance of the disaster to the football club. I know before our game against Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup, he had the analysts cut together a kind of history of Wrexham in the FA Cup for the players to watch, with clips from the Arsenal game, clips from West Ham, clips from Blythe Spartans, whatever it may be, just to make them understand what they're part of. And I think that all those little things have helped foster this spirit amongst the players and the staff and the administrative staff of the club that is sort of a superpower, really.
Well, it's a culture. It's a culture that he's led and created, and he was like it as a player. Mind, played against Phil. He was very much a captain.
He was a hard
captain. You know what I mean? Unassuming.
Uncompromising.
But good player. Probably could have played higher. Probably didn't get the credit he deserves as a player. All right, but he was a good player and a leader, you would say. And I would look at him as a manager and what he's done, and it pees me off when I see people sort of, almost overlooking the achievement. Like when you say, "Oh, you got money," and things are easier with money. We know that. But I would look and say, well, look how many teams we've done it. We done it the other day, right? We looked in League Two. How many clubs were in League Two? How many was in League One? Former Premier League clubs. Yeah. There's clubs in the National League that were in the Premier League. So, if you don't get things right culturally, it can. One of our mates won't thank me for this, but Van der Ven for Spurs the other day, brand new manager, and you're ignoring him. Culture. Right?
Yeah.
Culture, mate. If your culture's not right, it doesn't matter. So that's where I credit him. I think he's done a magnificent job.
And you, given your occupation, or one of your occupations, actor or whatever, screenwriter, you're used to cameras. I remember the entrance. You were there. I know Maidstone in the National League.
Yes.
Rob and Ryan entered just before kickoff.
Maidenhead.
It was a Maidenhead, not Maidstone. Yeah, you're right. Timmy Mallett's club, Maidenhead.
Yes.
Look at me and go back.
Yeah, and it was certainly Wide Awake Club that night. Yeah. And they snaked him, led by cameras and lights. I mean, you were part of it, I'm sure. The what they call the entourage, and then it was extraordinary. It was absolutely extraordinary. Yeah. But Phil Parkinson puts all that away when he's in the dressing room. All right, we know he shouts a lot, but in the dressing room, because we've seen that on Welcome to Wrexham. But his persona afterwards, after wins, after defeats, is just calm. And I think that is a big part of it, Humphrey.
I completely agree. I think again, the example he sets to our players of not getting too high, not getting too low, taking each game as it comes. All those cliches, which are cliches for a reason, because there is a very effective way of approaching managing a football club and playing in a football match. And so, An anecdote I often trot out is, I'll say I was there on Saturday for our game against Ipswich, and I was walking around the pitch after the game to leave, and I bumped into Callum Doyle, who had been punched in the face by the Ipswich goalkeeper, and then scored our fourth goal, the go-ahead goal. And saw him, quick handshake, hug, well done, pal, good work. And I had two friends with me. And as he was moving away to go and do, I think he was doing a post-match interview, he spotted my two friends and sort of doubled back and shook hands with both of them, introduced himself, like, hello, I'm Callum Doyle. Hello, I'm Callum Doyle. And they're like, oh, hi. And it sounds like such a small thing, but I think it's,
big.
A couple of weeks after all that stuff about Chelsea, the Chelsea fans not taking the whole mascots and things, and I not here to tell them how to behave one way or the other, but I think it just speaks to, like, I've seen it time and again, there's just a culture of like basic human decency around the club, treating each other the right way, doing things like you would expect them to be done, and not giving people that thing like, oh, you're a championship footballer, you've just scored, you've just won a great big game, you get the license to, you can act however you want, you can give it the big one. Phil doesn't stand for that, and I think it really it has built this team spirit, and this, I see again time and again players that are out of the team, they're the first ones to pounce on the fella who plays in their position when he's won, when he's scored a goal, when he's made the assist, when he's done whatever. They are a proper unit, and I think that's what gets us. We punch a little bit above our weight, and people might laugh at that because, again, as you say, we spent a lot of money, but in the Championship, I think we are punching above our weight at the moment for the resources spent, and we spent a lot of money in the summer, but that's to try and catch up to people who've spent a lot of money for 10 years in a row.
Well, do you know,
we said that, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. But do you know, Humphrey mentions Chelsea there and the players. I know that was seen the other day as a negative, but I would say I used to go to Chelsea a lot, right, to see Eddie Newton when Roman Abramovich was in charge. And that little incident that Humphrey says there, where the player turns around and shakes the other two people's hands. So I remember going to the Chelsea training ground and walking outside, and as we were walking around, two of the younger staff from the academy, and they both stopped and not bowed, but it was like, good morning. Really made a big emphasis on
culture,
saying good morning. And so we walked away, and I said to Eddie, wow. And he said, Nate, like, we won't have it. It doesn't matter whether you're 16 or you're 36. You walk past anybody, you say good morning, you greet them, good afternoon, no matter what time it is, but you show manners, right? And he said, and that is the culture throughout this. But that was when they were winning things, right? That was when they were they were brilliant. But those little things go a long way. Those little things.
Humphrey, we've already kept you longer than I said we would, but I want to ask you a couple more things. And we're enjoying the chat, honestly. It's what we do. You've got sort of investment from, Apollo Sports Capital, who are, I think they've either bought Atletico Madrid or bought into, or are buying into Atletico Madrid. Yeah, the Allen family are quite a stake. How big do you think, Robin, right, is the Premier League the incentive now? How big do you think Wrexham can be?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Premier League is definitely the objective, and it's it's tantalisingly close now. Obviously, with all the challenges that come from if we can make the playoffs, if we can thrive in the playoffs, whatever it may be. But we our hope is that within a few years' time we will be in the Premier League, and then ultimately it's a case of I think we've done very well so far. I think we've been fortunate at times. You need a bit of good luck here and there, and we've made our own luck in places. So, I mean, I think we will continue to try and grow the club, grow the fan base, grow the facilities, grow our academy, our women's section, all those things, and see where it takes us. Really.
Yeah. I think it's big. I think it's bigger than that, Rob. Right? I don't think, like you and I have spoken in past times about Cardiff, right, and a billionaire owner, and the objective was to get to the Premier League and then become established in the Premier League, and then you go for Europe. And I say, like, if you're standing still, you're going backwards, right? And that's what I think Wrexham's goal is, right, to get to the Premier League. But I guarantee you, beyond that, there'll be people planning and thinking, right, then how do we sustain it? Do we do the same thing as we've done to get to the Championship and rip up the team and start again, or blah, 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 or replace a few players? But then the midterm is to, right, become established in the Premier League. The long term then is Europe.
Yeah.
Right? That's where you want to be. I don't care what anyone says. The objective of football is winning and getting to the top. And the top is top 6 of the Premier League, right? And you're looking now at Newcastle, Aston Villa, all these different clubs. Look where Man City were 15 years ago, right? Anything is possible.
It can be done.
It can be done, yeah. It can be done.
And last one, Humphrey. I just want to bring in, I was in Australia in January, took a well-earned break, and the only Welsh club shirt I saw was Wrexham, in Noosa of all places, where the England cricketers enjoyed themselves one night, and or maybe a couple of nights. And it just showed to me, we've said it for ages, but it was another example of global brand. And what is your view now on Snoop Dogg and Luka Modric and Martha Stewart sort of joining up forces with Swansea? Is that what it's all about?
Well, I mean, I think that I welcome it. I'm all for it. I think it's got to be a good thing for Swansea, both the club and the town. So yeah, I mean, I think that it's a strange new world we're in terms of how much ownership there is from overseas in British football, and I think that ultimately part of the reason for that is the resources that are available and what are the resources that are required to thrive in our football ecosystem now. So, I'm all for it personally.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to be a bit churlish. Makes me like, no, only us, not them.
I think the difference is, though, they've lived it. Yeah. They've been Rob and Ryan have been there for those big experiences, right? Those big games, those big results, even the smaller games, but some of the big results. When you're coming back, you're 1-0 down, you end up winning 2-1 late on. That was like something that's happened a lot at Wrexham,
rush,
right?
Isn't it?
But I say, once you get bitten by that bug, you cannot help it. Yeah. Football is so addictive, right? I say to people who don't watch it, don't like it, I say to them, you go to the right game just once and you're in for life, right? So I think that's the difference between, I think Snoop and Luka have more of a a backseat sort of, and it's advertising, marketing, what have you, great. But I think the difference with Rob and Ryan is they've actually gone in and National League, watching Wrexham at National League level and stuff like that. It's you got to live it, mate. You got to live it.
And you've lived it, Humphrey.
Certainly.
And if it wasn't for you, they probably wouldn't have lived it because you're the one who convinced Rob to get involved, etc.
Yeah, possibly not. Possibly not.
Congrats, man.
Brilliant. Listen, thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Thank
really
you both
appreciate
for having
it.
me.
Yeah, appreciate it. Take care.
I'm sure we'll have you on again.
You too, Humphrey.
Cheers,
Yes,
Humphrey.
See you on the far post, mate. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Ta-ra, mate.
The man who got them involved.
I love it. I just love the story. I love the story because I remember when it first happened, and myself included, I thought, oh, that's a bit Hollywood, right? But then when I started seeing, like I said, Ryan and Rob at sort of National League games, you think to yourself, huh?
It was incredible.
Wait a minute. Yeah, you just think, like, wait a minute. These guys are supposed to be Hollywood and maybe drift in when they're at the position they're in now. You'll see them, but they're in amongst it. They're in amongst the community. They don't live there, but they've embedded themselves. They understand what's going on. So they don't waste money. They're growing. And I get frustrated because I've seen it. A lot of money going to Cardiff and not seeing the same sort of, they got the potential in spades, right? And I've seen Newport in a smaller way have sort of money that, like, money don't come along often at Newport. So when it does, you got to treasure it. And my annoyance was they didn't want to take any sort of advice, and at the same time they were trying to shut us down as the community. So yeah, that's why I got no sort of. There is a lot of jealousy, right?
There
I would
is
say,
bitterness,
but
yeah.
and I would say I don't do that. I'm just like, listen, they're Welsh, mate. So just get behind it. You know, it might be you might be jealous now, but it might be your son playing for them one
And
day.
they've made a community proud.
Yeah, well, it's the same as what Man City done, right?
Yeah.
With what they've done and what they've invested. It's not just the team and the club and, you know, the women's team and the youth teams and the training grounds, but it's also like roads, housing, community projects. Listen.
So there's 6 at the moment.
Is that top 6?
Top 6. Just where you predicted they would be. Well, I mean, they go to Charlton on Saturday. Then they got the FA Cup with Chelsea. Then they're home to Hull. Then they're home to Swansea.
Yeah, it doesn't get easier, mate. But listen, let me just say this. You and I made a comment a couple of weeks ago when they played Millwall that they were very similar. I went up to watch the Ipswich game, the FA Cup game.
Yeah.
And I was watching highlights last night. I don't think they get enough credit for the football they play.
Right.
They're very.
You said they needed more creativity.
Yeah, but they're very. You can never have too much creativity, right? I'm talking a basic creative midfielder.
Yeah.
Right. You know, Windash is very creative, right? He does things off the cuff and stuff like that. But I don't think they've got like a dominant creative midfielder then, right? Like I could name from some certain Premier League teams or certain teams. I think they do. You can never have enough creativity. But I think what they're doing and the way they're playing, I've kind of like looking, I'm thinking, no, you need to sort of have a rethink, Nath, because their intricacy sometimes in amongst halfway line and then breaking, you know, even like you'd expect, oh right, he's going to cross it here, and his little 5-yard cut back to someone and little 1-2. Listen, they're ticking a lot of boxes, Wrexham.
As Humphrey said, and we've said all
yeah,
along,
they're ticking a lot of boxes.
Parkinson is good.
Yeah. Listen,
He's
listen.
good at what he does.
Anyone who thinks, Premier League and then we move on, I said, listen, that man, if he gets you the Premier League and you don't name a stand or like give him the freedom of Wrexham statue, that's without shadow.
Yeah.
He's done enough for 2 statues already. But yeah, I just I like I say, I envy, but I love it.
Yeah.
Because I like, you got Cardiff here, Newport there. I sit in between the two. Cardiff have got the money and the finance, right? But you look at what they've done. You and I have argued about this, right? And I'm glad I can look at Wrexham and go, well, I cite that as my example, Rob, of what could be.
So they go to Charlton on Saturday, which will. Nathan Jones always has his side sleeves rolled up.
Seen Jonah a couple of weeks ago having a little square up.
Yeah, nothing new there. But they're looking really good, Wrexham. It was a big win after the emotion of Ipswich on Saturday, because you played in those games.
Draining.
Huge game. They're draining.
Yeah.
And then they got the job done against
just
Portsmouth.
grit.
Yeah.
Just get over the line.
And
Doesn't
Max
matter how
Taylor,
you
who's
win.
been with them from the start.
Win. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Great header, the first one. But like I said, I don't think they're migrating into more of a. They won't lose the grit because of the players they've got, but they are migrating into players who I thought were just more dogged, playing more football.
Yeah.
I like it, mate. I like it. I like it. Give
Meanwhile,
credit where it's due, right? You've got to give credit where it's due.
Yeah, absolutely.
There'll be some Newport fans going, what's with the Wrexham loving? But, hey, mate.
You can't, but
listen, I don't wear that hat of jealousy. I've never have.
No.
Plenty of old girlfriends to tell you that, Rob.
It's all right. You floor me sometimes. I wish I had a comeback for that. Yeah. But all I can come back with is Snoop Dogg was at the Swansea.com.
Yeah.
So you got Swansea against Preston, mid-table.
Preston could get in.
They could get 7th if they'd won, they went close to it. We're recording this on Wednesday. Must keep saying so. Yeah. It's last night. And there were 20,233 there.
Yeah.
Preston hardly had a few. In fact, for the first time, Swansea had their own fans at the north end, where the away fans normally go.
Isn't it incredible how
it is
like this?
And he walked around the pitch. They played. Well, first of all, this is Dre. They played as he walked out. That's it. Oh, what a tune! What a tune! And then all the Swans fans, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll know what this is. They called it a towel, but it's more like a flannel, really. They had all these on their seats, and for those of you listening, it says Swansea City against the Preston North End, 24/02/2006. A picture of Snoop with "Make Some Noise," and then Snoop Dogg on the bottom saying, "I can't hear you."
Yeah.
Well, the atmosphere was astonishing.
Yeah, I've seen the highlight.
When he walked around the pitch. Unfortunately, I suspect it got to the players in a way that Swansea wouldn't have won it, because first half they were terrible. And they were 1-0 down to Daniel Jefferson goal.
He's a player.
He looks
He's a player,
yeah.
mate. I tell you, he is. If I was a Premier League club, I'd have my eyes all over him.
Yeah, he messed Swansea around big time.
He's a good player and physical with it as well.
Yeah.
Quick, athletic, skillful, kept showing for the ball, a good player.
Well, what I will say about Vito Matos, there was no wait 10 minutes after the break to see whether we can change things. It was right. 3 subs going on at half-time, and it made a hell of a difference, I've got to say. I mean, he was just decisive, which is what you want from your managers. Sometimes it could happen before the interval, but they changed when Gustavo Nunes, Malaki Alcoy and Josh Key played on the right-hand side and allowing Ethan Galbraith to move to his proper position in midfield. They're a different side. And they're more, a little bit later on, they put Leon Cullen on. And, of course, he scored in the land of the giants because Preston had 5 centre-halves.
He's got a good leap on him, though, Liam, isn't he?
And it was a lovely leap for the goal.
Yeah, and it was a glancer, right? It's one of them, as long as you get above the defender, he doesn't get a deflection on it, so it doesn't. Yeah. But it was a lovely goal. But, Galbraith at right back,
not getting the best out of him there.
Haven't they got someone in the youth team? Because right back is where you blood players.
Well,
really.
I think Josh Key was struggling for a bit of form, but last night, second half, I thought he was excellent going forward, providing good quality into the box as well.
You're taking away too much from your midfield.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That creative sort of goal-scoring player.
Yeah.
And, that's how the game is won or lost, goals. So I think I wouldn't be sacrificing Galbraith in that sort of full-back position. I'd be looking into my sort of 21s youth, even these days, 16, 17-year-olds.
But can you understand massive atmosphere before the game?
I'm surprised the flag. I'm surprised that's not blue, although that wouldn't go down well, would it?
No,
because he's
it wouldn't go down.
He's a crypto, right? So you gotta understand. I'm not talking about blue as in Cardiff.
I know, as in Bluebirds. But the towel thing come from Pittsburgh Steelers, which is his big love.
American football.
In American football, and of course he was at the Winter Olympics, the Summer Olympics.
Yeah.
He's a big sports fan, but let's be honest about it. What happened last night is a minuscule bit of it, because they've got him in with Luka Modric, slightly different, but with
it's to raise the profile of
Martha
the club.
Stewart, global branding.
Well,
isn't it?
It's to raise the profile of the club.
Yeah,
and it as long as it's got to work, or it becomes what we thought would happen to Wrexham. It becomes a Hollywood thing, and it all crashes. And then what happens is people are able to then dig on your club and say, blah 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 blah. Listen, the fact that Snoop was at Swansea, right, was a big thing. Showing your face is a big thing. Your support in person, I mean, that's a big thing. Luka Modric has done his thing behind the scenes as well. So, listen, if it comes together, great. But it's we're in a situation now where you got Wrexham with great financial backing, Swansea with great financial backing, Cardiff with great financial backing. Those 3 clubs should be they should be saying to themselves, right, I've said it for years, Cardiff, billionaire owner, you can't be going to the Premier League once or twice and,
No.
you got to build it because getting there is so difficult. Winning the championship or promotion is so difficult, right? You look at people like Sheffield Wednesday, Norwich, Southampton on the climb now, but, Watford, big clubs.
Yeah, they are.
You know what I mean?
So, and I don't think he's going to be like Ryan and Rob at Wrexham, turning up every few games.
Snoop.
No, that's not going to happen.
No.
But I think I was reading a piece with the chief executive, Tom Gorringe, who said, we're up against sides. It's all about profit and sustainability rules. Yeah. And he said, we're up against sides with parachute payments, have one of the lowest turnovers. We have to think of new ways to generate income.
Yeah.
Which is what Wrexham...
Shirt sales, innit? And around globally and what have you.
Yeah.
Also, there's things where you start looking at
tied
possible...
in with Death Row as well.
Academies, which,
His
football
label.
in
Yeah.
America and raise that profile. Getting American footballers attached to Swansea and maybe having a pathway. I think Cardiff tried it with in Malaysia. And I think ever come of it.
No.
Other clubs in Sarajevo and what have you. But, if you don't do it right, it just crashes around your feet. Like, it's as simple as that. Football is the easiest way, if you're a billionaire, to become a millionaire.
Yeah, I think it's probably now too late for playoffs. I think that was probably it for
Swans?
Swansea.
Yeah,
and I said it was a result that suited neither side.
It's not too late. It's not too late. You're gonna,
It's a long shot now, though.
If Swansea go and win 6 games on the bounce, they'll be in and amongst it, right? But I would say the reason I was saying I don't think they'll do it is because there was 9 teams above them or 8 teams above them, right? And what you're asking is all of those 8 teams to lose while you win. Well, Swansea aren't good enough to go win.
No.
And those teams above them are too good to go lose. So,
the next game is Ipswich away on
Saturday. There's some tough fixtures. It's as simple as that. But I don't rule anything out. I never say
never say never.
I never say never, but it's highly unlikely.
Yeah.
Remember Roy Keane, Sunderland, took over, I think, second from bottom, and ended up getting promoted.
Steve Cooper when he went to Forest.
Yeah. So it can be done.
And they will have Marcus Stamenic, who I think they missed big time.
Yeah.
The New Zealander international who's missed the last 2 games.
Yeah, he's got to stop getting booked. Got to stop getting booked. He's like, what's his name at Spurs? What's his name? Gets sent off
Romero,
on it.
Stamenic... Yeah.
Yeah. You
need someone like that.
You need them, but it's got to be controlled because you're no good to me. It's like 1 step forward or 2 steps forward, 1 step back. If you get booked that amount of times, you got to time your tackling better. You got to, stay on your feet more. Be aggressive by all means, but aggressive. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to commit yourself to be aggressive.
No. And I should say, just as a note, that. Former Swansea Academy coach and Wales coach under Ryan Giggs, Eric Ramsey, was sacked by West Brom last night after 9 winless games in charge.
Down,
Dennis Lawrence, who was with him,
they're going down. You got to your coach. Listen, your coaching staff right through. I'd say that Humphrey with the academy, not that they need telling, but don't ever think, oh, we got the academy, great. I won't name names again, but I remember having a conversation with a certain academy manager and saying they were looking at sending players to certain clubs outside of the league, and I was saying, well, it's a bit low, and he was saying, oh yeah, but I said, listen, you got to understand that players can learn bad habits as well as good, from coaches, from other players, so putting them down that low, they ain't going to learn nothing about the professional game. So, get your coaches right as well.
Well, this is the Rob and Blakey Commentary Box podcast. We're loud and clear on Welsh football. Tell your friends all about us. We're on Instagram, X, Blue Sky, Threads. Watch us on YouTube and listen to us wherever you get your podcasts, including Spotify. And remember to like and subscribe. We really would appreciate that. Now, you and I swapped this commentary box for the home park version on Saturday, Nathan, as we watch Cardiff City slump to only their sixth League One defeat of the campaign.
Yeah.
A 5-2 loss at Plymouth Argyle. I did say to Brian Barry Murphy, the last time you and I worked on a Cardiff away game for BBC Wales, Radio Wales, was at Bolton, which they also lost. But he said,
Yeah,
no,
but it's you.
It wasn't your fault.
I haven't,
I'm not blaming you.
Well, I blame you because you forgot the kit.
Oh, that was at Bolton, yeah, but I didn't forget anything on Saturday.
Yeah.
But they were battered, weren't they?
Well, they were, but, you know, when I watched them on my own without you, it's fine.
Right, okay.
So BBM, it is him.
I'll have a word with somebody at Radio Wales and say,
no, but
I'd rather work with Danny Gabidon.
Yeah. But Plymouth were good, right?
They were very good.
I mean, the lad up front, Pepple,
yeah, and Tolaj.
he just dominated Osho and
Chambers.
Chambers just wasn't strong enough, and he's not got the legs he used to have. And do you know what I would have done?
You're going to tell me?
I would have put Perry NG against him.
All right, dark arts.
He's one of the best at it.
Yeah.
Right? And he loves a battle. And they had a little moment, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, yeah.
I probably would have brought Capaccio in and said to NG, take an Osho or Chambers out, and said to NG, go on then. Because he's physically dominating us at the moment, right? And he was our main problem. Like, when I got close to him, he like broad-shouldered, because I thought Osho was quite a big physical guy. Yeah, I saw him afterwards.
He's really tall.
He's a unit. Yeah, he's a unit, and he's strutting on the pitch.
He was, yeah.
And he was just too physical, too strong for Cardiff. Yeah. I think they missed Fish as well. I think his dominance on that physical side, that would have been a great clash.
Yeah,
I think Fish and him, but. Yeah, listen.
So how worried should Cardiff fans be?
Oh, don't worry, Rob. Even if like Lincoln go above them for a couple of games, I don't worry about it. They got a great. Don't start saying if they lose.
Lincoln win on,
if my nan was my grandchild.
No, all right. If Cardiff don't win against
but if they do
on Saturday and Lincoln do, fine.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, on Saturday is a possibility.
This is where the negative media man comes out.
No.
See,
it's a reality.
I'm gonna start calling you Unte.
No, I mean, the big thing for me is Cardiff are 11 points clear of Bolton in third.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's between right now. I mean,
it's semantics.
No, because they don't think, because I've been at Wolves where we were, I think it was 10 points ahead with 12 games to go, or vice versa.
Yeah.
And we ended up just about getting the playoffs and then lost. Didn't get to the final or anything like that. So if things aren't right in the dressing room, it can quickly go pear-shaped. And that's what happened to us at Wolves. The dressing room just fell apart, basically. So I don't ever say it can happen, because it can.
But you don't anticipate
I don't anticipate it happening. I don't anticipate Cardiff not winning the next game.
Yeah, and you've got to say, Lincoln, 16-game unbeaten run. A phenomenal run.
Yes, yeah. Listen, if you continue that to the end of the season, I'll doff my cap, right?
Yeah, quite.
But I would say they'll have a slump between now and the end of the season. Cardiff are probably they're not in a slump by any stretch. They've fallen into this sort of, they know they're better than the opposition, right? So, last week when they went down to 10 men and then they battered Rotherham, right, was a perfect sort of classic sign of, okay, we were playing you in first gear. We've just had a man sent off. We'll slip into third, and you can get above second. And we slipped into third, then fourth, then fifth, and they were just too good. A bit of, I would say, warn. Not that they are. I've seen them here and there 10 minutes at the start of games, but I would warn against complacency. That's my only sort of very slight, mild worry. But I think Cardiff will go on and win the next game.
Well, they're at Doncaster on Saturday, and then the following weekend it's Lincoln City at home.
Massive game.
Which is a huge game, and they've still got Bolton to come at home as well. Huddersfield away are also.
Still got some tough fixtures, mind.
They have, yeah.
Some tough fixtures, which is, I always say, you want to be playing the teams up and around you, or the teams fighting for relegation, because the teams in the middle of the table have got nothing to play for.
Yeah.
You come up against like let's say Swansea, for instance, let's say they're come by the end of March, they're 15th and there's no chance of playoffs. They just approach you like, yeah, gloves are off, we can do what we want, there's no pressure. And all of a sudden they start playing like Brazil. So
quite. Yeah.
you want to be going up against people who have equally got a lot to lose or win.
Well, on Saturday at Newport County, Christian Fuchs rang in ill on the morning of the game. And
Yeah, strange one.
Yeah, but he's back in on.
It must have been like
at the club this
week. Must have been an illness where you can't travel. Like
no, and you get an illness. Phil Parkinson was saying
you don't spread it
Wrexham
around the club as well.
There were a couple of them feeling really bad, few down with sickness.
Yeah,
and once you get in a dressing room,
you can't spread it. No, they don't, because you spend so much time together.
Yeah,
you eat together. You share a room with your roommate. You get the training ground every day. You train every day together. You shower together. You eat after training. You're spending 5, 6, 7 hours a day with people.
Yeah.
And I've been in a camp where with different clubs, and something goes round, and it's wildfire.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
I've been in clubs where Friday night, 1 or 2 people struggling, and by Saturday morning there's like 6 or 7 majorly struggling.
Yeah. So is sort of
but the results
been improved by the results.
Listen, the results is it's
they were apparently doing fine, and then Cambridge put 3 subs on and changed the game.
Yeah,
I probably would have taken a draw against Cambridge because they are in form.
Mate, we need wins. Yeah, that's what I said to you the other day. Something extraordinary has to happen between now and the end of the season. So draws, no, go and beat Cambridge.
Yeah, and they got Fleetwood away this Saturday.
Go and beat Fleetwood away. You know what I mean? That in order to stay up now, you need a bit of a freak situation to happen over the course of a month, and each game you lose and don't get a point or points from, it's looking bleak. Mate.
Well, they've got the position is Newport bottom on 24 points, 33 games played. 2 points behind Harrogate, who've played a game more. Then just outside the relegation zone, Barrow played 32, 27 points, so another game in hand on Newport. And then Crawley played 34, so they played more games than Barrow or Newport, and they're on 28 points.
And a little warning, just have a look at Hereford United, used to be a league club.
Yeah.
All right?
Struggling.
Absolutely. And again, that comes with it's poor management.
Yeah.
Of the club, the whole thing. I never understand people who is going south and they won't either acknowledge or admit, and maybe the problem is us as a board or me as an owner, or it just no, it's not, it's that, it's this. And meanwhile, you're 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 fans have to fall over the cliff with you. It's madness.
Yeah.
It's madness. So I just fingers crossed that doesn't happen to Newport.
Yeah. Well,
They've got to
really
bounce. Listen, I think they're down already. I've said to you, right?
Yeah.
I think it's done unless a freak sort of situation happens, freak set of results. But I'd already be thinking, right, next year, right, what are we going to do to bounce straight back?
And where are they going to play?
Oh, don't keep asking me that question. It's horrible.
Okay.
I don't want to look. I don't even want to think about.
We got to move on
Rodney
because
Parade.
we've had.
There's only one place they can play after Rodney Parade.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't want to go back there.
No, that's Spitty Park.
Oh,
yeah.
Listen, no diss to Spitty, but come on, it's Newport County.
But I think the whole Rodney Parade thing, very briefly, is, there's uncertainty at the Dragons with what's happening in Welsh rugby, and then you've got uncertainty at Newport with what's happening. So it'd be much easier if
fingers
Newport
crossed
had some freak results.
Well, fingers crossed. The rugby can't afford to let Newport go, even if it's a reduction in sort of what they charge them or something. Fingers crossed, because attracting players, listen, no training ground, and then no Rodney Parade. At least you get to play on a decent pitch every weekend or every other weekend.
Yeah.
No training ground, no facility to talk about, no ground. You start to think, well, if you're if you're Hugh Jenkins, just cut it loose, maybe walk away, cut your losses, walk away. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I know.
You know, that's the situation we're facing at Newport. It's why I say, for those who've been at the helm of Newport, it's just not good enough, mate. It's just not good. And I'm not one of these who goes, just blame Hugh or just blame him. There's been a collective of people who've made some major errors.
The fans still keep going though.
Well, they're diehards, man. Newport's like, mate, England is very Dufferin, Betis. It's very much it's very a united.
Yeah, quite.
I say city. I call it a town. It's very much a united city.
Meanwhile, what a time to be a Merthyr fan. Conceded 3 goals in the last 70 minutes on Saturday at Alfreton.
Oh, I know.
To lose 3-2.
Alfreton is struggling as well.
Our mate Lewys Twamley scored a penalty. Callum Ryan Phillips got the second. At Leamington, they were pegged back late down. 2 red cards, including the former Swansea City winger Jordan Garrick, 1 on each side. And they headed home with a 2-1 win, so they're still in the top.
They're in the hunt, mate.
They are right in the hunt.
Yeah, they're in the hunt.
Like they keep saying it's brilliant.
Well, I just think I'd love to see them get a little cash injection investor somewhere along the line. Because you're teetering on the edge now. Do you understand what I mean? You've clearly got a very good coaching staff.
Yeah.
Right? Clearly, whoever's running the club is doing the right things, and you've got a very good team. And you've lost 2 of your best players. Yeah, 2 of your 3 best players. Let me rephrase that. And you're still challenging and knocking on the door. I hope they can push over the line. I really do.
It'd be great.
It would be wicked.
Just stay in that top 3, get into the playoffs, and then who knows what could happen.
Yeah.
And I will say, I'll mention this, not blowing our trumpet, but somebody I was talking to about our podcast, the Comedy Box podcast, as we call it, Robin Blakey's Comedy Box, loud and clear on Welsh football. He was saying how he enjoys it. He's a Cardiff fan, so he's really enjoyed Brian Barry Murphy. But he said, you had a Merthyr player on, didn't you? That was a good one. Lewys Twamley. Lewis, take a bow.
Yeah. No, and it was, Lewis is I've always found, because we know I know his mum and dad really well, right? Great friends of mine. But he's always been quite he comes across like he's quite introverted.
Yeah, withdrawn maybe.
But he's not. He's quietly confident.
Well, he is on the pitch. That's for certain.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he is a quietly. When he was on the podcast, I was like, I was sat. He was next to me. I was thinking, go on, my son, because he's just that assured of himself. You know what I mean? He knows what he's about. I like that.
Good. Right.
So come on, Merthyr.
Yeah, exactly. On to the JD Cymru Premier League. Llanelli relegated after their defeat against Haverfordwest. At the other end, TNS took a step closer to the title with a 2-1 over Carnarvon.
The title's done.
They're now 15 points.
In
fact, it will be done.
Did I say in March? If it's done in March, then he's got to.
It is.
Did I say that? I'm sure if we go back to the clips, I'm sure I said early on when we were doing this podcast, maybe 10, 12, 15 episodes ago, if it's done by March, you know that there's something wrong in that league.
Well, they could win it if they will
February.
win if they beat Nomads in their next game.
And that'll be February still?
No, that'll be March sometime. Oh, because it's the end. It's not this weekend.
It's next weekend. Okay.
Yeah, so cut it out.
But you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you're saying.
Like I keep saying, it's not. I'm not dissing TNS.
No,
if I was playing for TNS, I'd say, well, it's nothing to do with me. I just keep giving me the titles,
Absolutely.
right? Keep giving me the titles. What I'm saying is, it's not healthy for the league. It's not healthy for the sport. It's not healthy for the Welsh FA. It's something has got. You've got to find a way of creating more challenge in that, and it only comes from investment. We've seen it in the Premier League with, like I said earlier, the likes of Villa and stuff like that. And that's why teams like Tottenham and Man United have struggled, because, you go up against Brentford or,
maybe Mooney should have with Humphrey
or something like that. Yeah. See. Well, not just see what else he knows. See what he knows.
Yeah. So they're 15 points ahead. Connacht's 17-match unbeaten run was ended by Barry. 90th minute goal from
Was that the
Ollie
team you were
Coleman.
saying going to challenge TNS, wasn't it? I
Yeah,
think you said.
Yeah.
What's the point difference? Sorry.
15 points. Okay.
Between Connacht's and TNS.
Yeah. I think I didn't. I must admit, I didn't know if somebody played last night, but I don't think they did. Colwyn Bay beat Penabont, the relegation section. Britain Ferry beat Bala, and Cardiff met earned a draw at Flint. Now, we talked a lot last week, Nathan, about Vinicius Junior, and this weekend, the scourge of racism has afflicted our game again. 4 Premier League clubs have made statements, and the police have confirmed they're investigating after 4 Premier League players experienced online racial abuse. Burnley midfielder Hannibal Medjbury, Chelsea defender Wesley Fofana, both abused on Instagram
by their own fans
draw at Stamford Bridge. I don't know. On Sunday, Wolves striker Tolo Arakadare and Sunderland winger Romain Mundle were also targeted on social media.
Listen, mate, it's I don't really care what people say or think, right? Because you haven't lived or walked in my shoes. But, you know, we're at a time where a societal thing is listen, it's always been in society, right? I mean, you're saying about the police, their own McPherson told them that you're institutionally got a problem, right, with racism. We've known that as black people since day one. What I don't like is not being believed and white people having to make a decision on us, whether what we're saying is true or not. That's backwards. Hence what I said, listen, black players, they need to collectively come together and down tools. And if white players or Asian players want to join them, absolutely even better.
Well,
Fantastic.
On the same note, I was listening to respected journalist Henry Winter, who I know you've had
great
dealings
guy,
with in the past. He was saying players have to start walking off.
Yeah, I don't think...
this appears to have been after games.
Yeah,
on social
so
media.
this is the problem, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I said last week, where, okay, I can't walk off if it comes at 5:30 after the game. But what I'm going to say is, unless it's dealt with properly, I'm not playing next game.
Yeah.
And that's just not me. That goes throughout. That should be almost like a law amongst black people. Have got to come together as a collective, right? One of our major problems is we all want to be leaders, right? That's one of the major problems. Hence why I said it doesn't matter if you're a top player or a player playing for Bath City. You all down your tools. You all say you're not playing. Until this problem gets sorted, I'm not playing. I'm not having this, he danced, so I can call you a name. Like, okay, so does that rule apply to everybody then? So if, a white player comes and celebrates, Sabozlai, say, I can start saying things about his mum and about his race and about his religion. No, it's like, this freedom of speech nonsense talk is just a nonsense, right? It's a get out. And no matter what happens, no matter what black players do, there's always a get out on the other side. Like, why didn't Mourinho and Benfica go to that player who I believe is Argentinian? And Argentina...
He's now been suspended,
I'll say, well, it's a bit of a Mickey Mouse one, isn't it?
Well,
I'll
say, investigate.
And I'll say, well, you don't need to investigate. That's the problem, all right? You've got one of the FIFA's face of football is Mbappe, and he's coming and telling you what he heard.
Yeah.
So you don't believe him then?
Yeah. No, I'm not.
No, not you.
No.
I mean, FIFA. So, do your investigation, but you already know, right? Why do you think that when you have the right to say what you want to me, right? And two, why do you think you got the right to racially abuse me? It's been in our society for so long. And I'll tell you another thing. I watched the Tottenham Arsenal game. And anyone it might have been people who picked it up, but there was a racial slur said on there. And I picked it up. It's on between 69.15 and 69.20, right? I think it's aimed towards Gabriel. But when I was watching the game and I thought, what the? So I rewound it and turned it up. And yeah, I caught it. But I haven't heard no one at Sky say anything, right? I didn't hear no one in the pundits say anything. And that's why I say that's me. I don't care if you like it or loathe it. One, you're not going to racially abuse me. And two, you're not going to get away with it, right? That's where my stance, that's where I've been brought up by my mum, my brothers, my uncles, my aunties. And even now I can hear it. My voice is stand for one minute, right?
I've seen it often.
Because it's like, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Right? You don't have no right I don't have a right to just come up and say something to you because I think, well, I don't like you. It's a madness, mate. So, like I say, players got to come together, and what be as powerful, not more powerful, but as powerful, is if there's people from other races who join that, right, and say, well, I'm standing with my teammate. Because all of a sudden, teams become non-teams when it comes to racism. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do, yeah.
All of a sudden, like, oh, we back off. We'll jump on it now, and it's popular because at the moment it's popular. But all these kick racism out of football, Sky Sports, anti-racism, what are you actually doing? That's what I would say. And I say, not a lot, right? It's just a subject matter. I've been on radio and spoke about it, and I had to stop going on radio because I'd be asked about it on incidents, this happened Sunday or Saturday at the game. I'm speaking to the person who's asking me the questions. I get riled and angry and vexed and upset. And then they say, oh, thanks, cut you off early, one. And two, I hear the person who's just asked me the question going, right, let's talk about the new Frisbee that's just come into town. I'm like, what the? Yeah. And I'm left all day smarting. Listen, can't rely on white people to solve this problem that they created. Simple as that. And I'll say it loud, clear, proud till the day I die.
That's what we do on this podcast. We say it loud and clear. It's been a mixed bag, but
sorry, Rob. Let me just finish by saying, imagine if you're a little kid up the valleys, you're a black kid, or in Plymouth where we were the other day, or in Rotherham, and you ain't got many black people around you, and you got to go to school, and people think that's okay to say to you, and and I say to anybody who's racist, pick you up, put you in a place where you're the minority day in, day out. Let's see how brave you are. Let's see how brave you challenge and talk. And let's see when it's on you all the time. The bullying, the disrespect of your colour, your culture, your parents, everything. Let's see how you react. That's why I said enough.
Yeah, no, but this is
it's real.
To say, it's real, exactly. As I said, we reflect all of Welsh football, men and women's football, but we also tackle the issues.
Got a sweat on them, so vexed.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, remember to like, follow, and subscribe to this podcast. We really would appreciate it. We're here for all the clubs that we give publicity to, but also to tackle those issues like that. And I think we know that it's personal. Isms. Yeah. So we will be back next week with another edition of the Rob and Blakey Commentary Box podcast. Special guest next week is Jane Ludlow, former Wales football manager, brilliant player, right up there among Wales'
dirty as well,
greatest ever players.
Take no prisoners, Jane.
A tank in midfield, so don't upset her.
Yeah, for real. I'll wear my shin pads next week.
Yeah, so join us again for that. Brilliant insight into international football as well. So look forward to seeing you then. We're signing off on the Rob and Blakey Commentary Box podcast, loud and clear on Welsh football. Cheers.